hunger. Change biology, however, and behavior adapts naturally, suggesting a more effective approach to long-term weight management. In the midst of my stint in basic research, I helped develop my hospital's newly established family-based weight management clinic called the Optimal Weight for Life, or OWL, program. Like virtually all specialists at the time, and many to this day, our team of doctors and dietitians focused first on calorie balance, instructing patients to eat less and move more. We prescribed a low-calorie, low-fat diet, regular physical activity, and behavioral methods to help people ignore hunger, resist cravings, and stick with the program. When they returned to the clinic, my patients usually claimed to have followed recommendations. But with few exceptions, they kept gaining weight, a depressing experience for everyone involved. Was it the patient's fault for not being honest with me, and perhaps themselves, about how much they ate and how little they exercised? Or was it my fault for lacking the skills to motivate patients to change? I felt ashamed of judging my patients negatively and felt like a failure as a physician. I dreaded going to the clinic, and I'm sure some of my patients felt the same way. I suspect many doctors and patients at weight loss clinics throughout the country can relate. After about a year of this schizophrenic existence, fascinated with biology in the lab, frustrated with behavior change among my patients in the clinic, I began to wonder about the disconnect. Why did basic scientists think one way about obesity and practicing clinicians another? Why did we disregard decades of research into the biological determinants of body weight when treating patients? And why were we using an approach to weight loss based on a calories in, calories out model that hadn't changed since the late 1800s, when bloodletting was still in vogue? So I launched into an intensive examination of the literature from popular diet book authors like Barry Sears, The Zone Diet, and Robert Atkins, Dr. Atkins' New Diet Revolution, to George Cahill, Jean Meyer, and other preeminent nutrition scientists of the last century. I spent hundreds of hours poring over musty volumes in Harvard's medical library, rediscovering provocative but neglected theories about diet and body weight. And I began to realize just how little evidence there was to support standard obesity treatment. Soon, my entire perspective shifted. I came to see food as so much more than a delivery system for calories and nutrients. Although a bottle of cola and a handful of nuts may have the same calories, they certainly don't have the same effects on metabolism. After every meal, hormones, chemical reactions, and even the activity of genes throughout the body change in radically different ways, all according to what we eat. These biological effects of food, quite apart from calorie content, could make all the difference between feeling persistently hungry or satisfied, between having low or robust energy, between weight gain or loss, and between a lifetime of chronic disease or one of good health. Instead of calorie counting, I began to think of diet in an entirely different way, according to how food affects our bodies and ultimately our fat cells. My personal testimonial. At the time, I was in my 30s and, like so many Americans, had gained an extra pound or two each year since high school. For most of my life, I was fit and lean, and ate reasonably well, at least according to conventional standards. Not too much fat, lots of whole grain products, several servings a day of fruits and vegetables, and relatively little sugar. But after several years of steady weight gain, I had approached the threshold for becoming overweight, a body mass index, BMI, of 25. For my first clinical research study, I experimented on myself, guided by my rapidly evolving understanding of nutrition. I doubled my intake of fat with generous servings of nuts and nut butters, full-fat dairy products, avocado, and dark chocolate, and ate vegetables drenched in olive oil. I increased protein just a bit and cut back my starchy staples, including bread, cereal, pasta, and pastries. I made a few other changes, none especially difficult, but no attempt to reduce calories, eliminate all carbohydrates, or deprive myself in any way.